scoot over behind you.
Here we go. Hey, everybody. Hey, Facebook world. So we're going to go ahead and start because I know most of you will watch this on a replay. And this is my dad, Jim Mullette, and we're introducing him to Facebook Live world. So watch out, Facebook, because Big Jim now maybe, I just taught him how to go Facebook Live. So we may know all the inner workings of the Benedictine Manor one night. That'll be fun. Yeah. But I just wanted to, my dad wanted to share a little bit of his story because he's just had some really amazing things happen to him through this journey that he's taken in the last year and a half or so, almost a year and a half, I guess.
Yeah.
So kind of where it began is I never in my whole entire life thought I would ever do a business like this because I always just had a really negative connotation of this kind of business and just was not, I don't know, I just didn't really want to be involved in something. I was too busy, had 5 children, worked full-time, my husband worked full-time. And so really when I was introduced to LifeVantage, I just kind of reached out to my friend Michelle Poe because of the products. What's funny is I even called one of our mutual friends and almost kind of tried to get her to talk me out of using them, but she gave them a great review. And so I started the products and I was a super skeptic and wanted to prove everything wrong. But what I did is I started doing research on them. And so we started activating our body in December by, when did you start? Mid-January?
No, 1st February.
1st of February. So by the 1st of February, I had read enough research to know that I wasn't even going to give my dad an option. My dad was putting these products in his body. So my dad has Parkinson's and has been diagnosed with it for how long, Dad?
Since 2006.
Okay, so quite a while, 2006. Before that, he had essential tremors. And the essential tremors disease has grown into Parkinson's, grew kind of into that diagnosis. So my whole entire life, my dad has shook. His hands have shook his whole life to the point where we used to kind of tease him when he was drinking a cup of coffee because out there in the oil field, he'd be holding his coffee and his hand would just be shaking. And we teased him about having too much caffeine. But what we learned is it probably wasn't the caffeine, it was Parkinson's that was happening in his body. So in February, the beginning of February, I started just shoving these products in his body. So he activated his NRF2 pathway, which what we're learning is now the most potent and therapeutic preventative medicine that there is. And then he's taking NRF1. He's activating his NRF1 pathway, which is building his mitochondrial health. And then he's on a great probiotic. So those are the 3 holistic natural products that he's taken. Dad's gone down from 14 different medications.
16
medications down to how many?
3.
He takes 3 pharmaceutical drugs now. And that's just a miracle in and of itself. So it's just amazing. So, but what I wanted him to share with you is, as you can see, he's not shaking too much. Hold your hands out, Dad. Like, yes. So he doesn't shake hardly anymore. I noticed that very first off. That was one of the very first things that I noticed that was happening. But I asked him one day, I was just kind of quiet, and I asked him and I said, Dad, what do you notice most since you're starting to feel better? And what was your response?
First thing I noticed real well was that I started sleeping for the first time all night long. I'd say probably 18 years. And in that time, I'd sleep 4 hours, I'd be up 2 hours, and I'd sleep 4 more hours. But since I've been taking this, I'm going to bed at around 11 o'clock at night, and I'm waking up around 8:30 in the morning. And I've never slept that long in my life.
He even said he's starting to dream, and he's not sure if he likes that aspect.
I don't like dreaming.
So that was it. And then do you remember what you told me at the baseball game? So one of the things that Dad was maybe hiding a little bit was his Parkinson's was starting to progress. And he was having some memory issues, which I didn't know because he's a great hider of things, that his memory wasn't functioning as well as it was. But do you remember what you told me that day?
No, I don't.
About driving to Huntsville? And you remembered the directions?
Oh, yeah. I remembered all the directions you gave me the night before.
Yeah.
And I knew exactly where I had to turn and where I had to go. And I remember things, but it may be after I've done it. and in the process, I learned that I'm retaining more than I used to a long time ago.
Yes. And so that may not seem huge to you, but what you don't know is my dad was a man that drove, I don't know how many miles a year, Dad?
90? On average, 90,000.
Yeah, 90,000 miles a year all over Wyoming, Colorado in snow in his LTD Ford
Crown Victoria.
Crown Victoria rear-wheel drive car all over the oil field. And so here's what I knew is my dad had a map in his head of the United States. And so he was struggling to drive to Huntsville, Alabama. And I didn't know that. So I know that that was very concerning to him. And so that is a huge change.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Oh, definitely.
So what are some of the other things that you have felt a difference in your life that may not seem significant to a lot of us that, have normal everyday today things?
Sitting down at a table, eating with friends, and being able to keep the food on my fork instead of being embarrassed to eat in public. I can now keep food on my fork. I don't have to use a spoon. And to me, that was kind of embarrassing. But to other people, it may not bother. To me, it bothered me a lot.
Yeah, and so that might seem insignificant to some of us, but it's huge. So we're not sitting here saying that these products are curing, treating, or mitigating his disease. Not by any means. He still has Parkinson's. That's definitely part of his life. But he has, I would put it in words of my dad feels like he has some of his dignity back.
Totally.
Yeah, and so one of the things that he said was he used to only be able to eat meals in public if he could stab at the food, right?
Yes.
And now you're able to scoop and hold it on his fork. So,
I can hold peas on a fork now.
Yeah.
I can't hold them on a knife yet. But.
Now, I don't know if I want to eat peas, but he can hold peas on his fork now. And so, I never ever thought I would get into doing something like this, but this is why I do it every day, because it's changing people's lives, and it's changing my family's life, and it's given my father back, who was a super independent man and never needed help. It's given him some of his independence back. And we were talking about having to go to maybe a weighted silverware where he wasn't shaking so bad. And so that's gone right now. So for sure we can say that his progression of his disease has halted. Dad feels like it has gotten better, which is a miracle. And so one of the things I just want to make sure everybody knows is there's not a miracle pill. This is not a miracle pill that he's taking. What the miracle is our bodies. God made our bodies to be self-healing organisms. And so when we put the right things in our bodies can heal. And it's just amazing. So I asked Dad to do something he's a little nervous about. But show them how you've been signing your name for the past, how long, 3 years?
Oh, no. I've been at this since 2004. This is my signature. You probably can't see it. But what it is, before I started getting to the point where I couldn't write, I went and got a stamp made at the bank, and I stamped my checks and all my contracts and everything with this stamp that the bank had made up for me. And so my checks are signed with this stamp, all my contracts, everything I do. And if I actually have to have an actual signature, I have to have my daughter sign my name. And here about a month ago, for the first time in 18 years, I think it was, I actually signed my name.
It makes you a little emotional, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that again doesn't seem like it's a huge thing, but for, he snuck off and went to the doctor last week and didn't tell me he was going to the doctor, because I would have to have gone with him to sign some of his paperwork. And so this is huge. This is huge. And I just want all of you who are watching to know that this is so unlike anything else that's out there. And there's so much noise There's so many products that are out there, and it's overwhelming and honestly super annoying. And so I just haven't wanted to be that annoying person. But this is so real that it's changed my dad's life. It has become a mission that I know that I just have to tell you guys about. And so I'm so proud of Dad and thankful that he was brave and able to get on here with you. And so he's going to show you. He's a little shaky today, which is normal, but he's a little nervous. And so he's going to show you today how he can hold a pen, first of all, and he can write his name. And it may not seem legible, but my whole entire life, my dad should have been a doctor because he could never, nobody could ever read his signature. I could never forge his signature in high school. So let's see, Dad, if I can get this turned around. Okay. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me scoot back. Sorry for the... So first of all, look at that. He's holding his pen. Wow.
And that's how bad it looks.
That's pretty amazing, but that's your own hand holding a pen.
Yep.
Yes. So we are just so thankful. Thank you, Anita. Look at her. She says, thanks so much for sharing your story with us, Jim. And I know it's scary, and I'm just thankful for it today, but I just wanted to share with you guys because it's made a huge difference in my life and my family, and I know that Dad will never be the same again. So thank you guys so much. We hope this blesses you, and we hope that you're able to find health on your own because it's out there. You just may have to seek natural ways, and sometimes going against the grain is the way to do it. And so we're just thankful today, and we love y'all, and I'll post this so you can rewatch it again if you missed the beginning of it, and feel free to share because the world needs to know that we can activate our bodies and our bodies can begin to heal themselves. So we love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.